morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to Product Marketing Breakdowns. This is a podcast that focuses on learning from your peers. Product Marketing Breakdown gives a platform to some of the best product marketers around in the industry to come up with a product marketing project that they themselves have worked on, and they will break it down for us. They will share the insights that they leveraged in the process and just explain why it works. I want to enable each and every one of you to directly learn from the creators. Take inspiration from their work and apply that to your day to day work today. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Chirag. I'm a director of product marketing based in Toronto, Canada. I'm also a top product marketing voice on LinkedIn. This is episode number 3. And today I've invited Nitin Kartin to join me. Nitin is also a director of product marketing. He's also a top product marketing voice on LinkedIn. He is also a content creator, and he does a great job in sharing crucial insights and learnings from some of the top product marketers in the industry. This will be an interesting episode because for him, the roles have reversed. From being an interviewer, he's now an interviewee. This episode was packed with some great analogies, some very actionable and helpful insights, and a lot of love for a specific software. I enjoyed speaking with him, and I think you will enjoy this episode too. All right, episode 3, Nitin Kartin. Here we go. Right, so Nitin, thank you. Thank you so much for joining. Welcome to Product Marketing Breakdowns. Why don't you tell us a bit about yourself and what got you into product marketing in the first place?
Absolutely, Chirag, and thank you for having me. Really good to be here. A little bit about my background. So I'm a director of product marketing at Carbine. I'm also a Product Marketing Alliance ambassador, and I've been recognized also as a top product marketing voice, which I'm very, very humbled for. In terms of my education, I got my MBA at the University of Chicago Booth School of Business, and I got my master's in electrical engineering at Stanford University. So I'm an engineer by education. And some fun facts about me: have also been featured as a guest on BBC TV. In fact, for the audience, do check out my LinkedIn. I have a cool video over there. You can check it out. I was born in India. I grew up in Tanzania in Africa, and now I live in the US. So I've lived on 3 different continents. What got me into product marketing? I find that for people, there may be others like me out there who have like a technical background, engineer by training, and went into business. I find that product marketing is a great way to blend your technical and your business backgrounds and help you shine. So if you're a technical person out there, you like the business side, really, really consider product marketing.
Yeah, I totally agree. Even I have a few folks in my network who are at this intersection of technology and business and even marketing. Like it's like a three-way street which kind of converges together, and I love that. And I've seen that quite commonly as well. I looked up your profile before, obviously, you and I connected, we spoke. But what I did is before I reached out to you, I did my research on you. I noticed something very interesting. You've held multiple roles across marketing, across different functions of marketing. Consumer marketing is one thing you did, then you transitioned into partnerships marketing, and obviously now you're in product marketing at Carbine. You moved into product marketing around 3 years ago. What was that switch like? And in the first place, what made you switch?
Yeah, great question. And again, I love this, right? Because I think there are so many people out there who may be in similar situations, but they think that, oh man, I'm this outlier case. No, you're not an outlier, okay? There may be millions of people like you out there. So you're right, Chirag. My background, I have experience in different industries. I'm currently in public safety. I've also been in healthcare. I've been at e-commerce. I've been in automotive. I've been in media. I've also had experience with different channels. So I've done consumer, B2C. I've done B2B, and now I'm doing B2G. And so I have that experience as well. I've had different roles like you alluded to, right? I've done business development. I've done partnerships. I've done product marketing. The way I like to look at it, Chirag, is, and there may be people like me out there, right? We are lifelong learners, okay?
Yeah.
And really, when you think about it, there is so much to learn in this world, and there's so little time. Life's really short, right? And so for people like me out there, if you're always liking to learn, I'm telling you, product marketing is really like the center of energy of almost any organization.
Course. Yeah, best crash
Exactly.
course you can take, right?
If you like to be in the middle of the action, product marketing is for you. And so really what helped me make that switch is I realized how much I love all these different industries and being in the middle of it all, and product marketing is what helps me fulfill that need.
Yeah, 100%. I love what you said about, learning every day. That is something I always firmly keep in front and center. And I keep, imbibing this in my team members as well, in my own team. And I always say that, you start a particular day, you are going to learn something by the end of the day, right? I myself am learning so much every day. I'm doing these conversations. I'm meeting you. I'm learning stuff from you. I'm learning stuff from our other guests. Even in your day to day work, there's so much that you get to learn. And people who are open to learning, who have that kind of a mindset, are the ones who are going to grow, are the ones who are going to actually, take it to the whole nother level. So that's something I like to keep front and center. And I'm glad you brought it up. That sounds like a great journey for you. So I want to ask you, when you made the decision of moving into product marketing, and fast forward to right now, while you are in it, you're leading a team at Carbine, what are the any differences between expectations and the actual reality for you?
Man, that's like something we could talk for a whole hour
Yeah.
about, expectations versus reality. And, there are so many things, but I'll pick one, which again, I think which will be very helpful for folks
Yeah.
out there. And that is, I like to take an analogy, Chirag, okay? Think of a duck that is swimming on a lake, okay?
Yeah.
And think about what you see above the water and what you see below the water. Above the water, you see this graceful bird, right? It's just gliding so smoothly. You see, oh my God, what a beautiful scene, right? You look below the water, you're seeing the legs
I
frantically,
lo-
like pushing down there and it's struggling. But
Sure.
above the water, you don't see any of that. It's just
Yeah.
beautifully gliding across the water. Okay, so
Yeah.
you asked about what is reality versus expectation. The expectation, and at least what the outside world perceives when we do our jobs well, is
It's
things
smooth
work
sailing.
beautifully, right?
Yeah.
Marketing campaigns, trade shows, all of that, right? Beautiful. But man, you get into the kitchen
There's so much that
and
goes inside. Yeah.
sometimes, yeah, even a restaurant is another great analogy, right? Like sometimes people say, man, if you go into the kitchen of the restaurant, you may never eat there again.
Yeah.
The food tastes
It's
amazing,
mayhem. It's
but you
mayhem.
don't know
Yeah.
what's going on in the kitchen. So yes, it's like that. So the reality, of course, is a lot more gritty. Things don't always work out the way you want, but hey, the show must go on. And so
Yeah.
that's the advice that I'd give other folks, that if you are seeing this disconnect between reality and expectations, always remember that the show must go on and we do what it takes, whether you're a product
100%.
marketer or product manager or whatever your role is. And so that's probably one big lesson I'd share.
Yeah, I love that example. And that's what, I was talking to another friend of mine who's also a product marketer, and we had a similar analogy that you don't see so much that goes behind the scene. The analogy that my friend was using was, he said, look at it as a drama, as a play that's happening on stage, right? You're seeing actors, you're seeing everything, you're seeing the whole symphony, you're seeing the whole story. There's so much happening. There are costume changes, there are people running all across, there's makeup, there's hair, there's so much going on.
Oh
And
yeah.
and I love this example as well. It's a very good reminder to every product marketer, and they will be able to relate to this as well. Awesome. I want to take the opportunity to plug some of your content that you've been doing so well. So, folks, if you're listening to this podcast, please go check out what Nitin is doing on LinkedIn every day. He's been doing this far longer than I am, so there's a lot that I can learn from him, of course. So, I wanted to just touch base a little bit about that and shift gears towards that topic. You've been creating content on LinkedIn daily, not even weekly. You've been creating daily with interviews from other PMMs. It's something similar to what I'm doing here, but obviously the gap that you are trying to address is different. What I'm trying to do is different. So can you talk a little bit about what is the gap that you are trying to address? And more importantly, while you started and till now, what are the things that you've learned so far in the content that you've been creating?
Yeah, definitely. So it's a great question, right? When people are looking to create content, I'm doing it, you're doing it, there may be others as well who are doing
Yeah.
it. Try to find something that is special about you. And you know what? I guarantee you, every one of us has something that is special in us, okay?
Yeah.
So the way I looked at it is, there's a saying that I like to think about for inspiration, which says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together, right? And people may have heard that, but think about it, right?
I'm
And
writing
so
that down.
there you go, yes. So when we collaborate, right, whether it is creating a long form podcast, short form podcast, video, audio, even collaborating on an article, right, we're going together. Every time, for example, my guests, when I talk with them, my guests tell me how much they enjoy these conversations.
Yeah,
I personally enjoy these conversations because I'm always learning a new tidbit every time I talk with someone great like you. And my audience tells me that they enjoy these lessons that they get daily. Like you said, I have these going out daily. And so it's a trifecta. It's a win-win-win. Everybody wins. And
absolutely.
my niche is I found that we need more short form content. There are a lot of people who create long form content, and that is
Yeah,
great. But for those people who may be on the run and maybe don't have 1 hour, 45 minutes to invest, and they want something actionable, something quick. So I said, you know what, let me focus on the 2 minute videos.
yeah.
And so that's my thing, and that's what got me into it. And I've been loving it. And when I get good comments from people, that's the fuel, that's the wind beneath my wings.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's the thing, and I was just going to bring that up as well, which you did. So, folks, if you're listening to this episode, and if you want to engage with Nitin's content, he puts out daily videos like every day, obviously. 2 to 3 minutes, not more than that. You will hear from different people across the world. And what I like also, Nitin, what you're trying to do is you're reaching out to people who are across different levels. You're not just sticking to top leadership, you're not just sticking to, let's say, middle, you're asking PMMs as well. And that's
Yeah,
important, right? And that kind of dovetails very well into what I'm trying to do as well. So, what I'm trying to do here, and this is the gap that I identified, is you have a lot of people creating content, long form content. A lot of it is actually strategic. A lot of it is you're talking to people who are industry leaders, who are CMOs, CXOs, and so on. That is helpful, but my gap is something different. I'm trying to reach out to people. Let's say if you're a new PMM, or let's say if you are someone who is undergoing a specific project, but you've never done that before. I want to enable those folks to learn from other PMMs, to learn from peers, and see an actual example of what they have done, right? So I'm creating a platform where product marketers can come on, they can bring one example of the work that they have done and just walk us through what that example is, why they did what they did, what was their process, what was their thought process, right? And that is, I think, powerful for someone to learn from another person. And I'm trying to build out a platform which helps do that. So I love that. We've kind of
that's absolutely great.
identified, yeah, we've
Yeah,
kind of
like
identified a niche, right? Both of us, like we've
exactly.
figured out you're addressing a specific market, I'm addressing a specific need. And that's how you grow. Once you kind of own that space or own that niche, you know you are the person to go to. That's what I'm trying to do as well. And
Man, kudos to you. Yeah, that's really great. And it's a big ocean out there, folks. So
it
don't think
is.
that all the ideas have been thought about. No, there are
No.
so many new ideas you can come up with. So like Chirag and me, go do your thing, and we'll be
Yeah.
rooting for you.
Yeah, 100%. Like if I can come across someone else's content, like I'm plugging your content multiple times today. Like if I come across someone else's content, I'm going to do the same because I know that's valuable. I look forward to your videos every day, right? So I know that that's going to help other people as well. So yeah, we are a community. We are all building on each other. We are kind of, raising each other up. And that's actually a perfect segue to my second section, right? So the second section is what I like to call the breakdown. The breakdown is where we go into the actual crux of the conversation, where I ask you a question of, can you introduce and share some context about the example that you brought with you? So when we connected, this is for context, when Nitin and I connected, I asked him to think of an example of any product marketing work that he has done in his past roles or maybe in his current role, doesn't matter, and then just walk us through what the process was. So I'd love to hear from you, Nitin. What is that example that you brought with you today?
Definitely, definitely. And these case studies are where the theory meets practice. So really
Mm,
excited to share. So one of the situations that we were in, I was in the healthcare industry and I was responsible for running a number of product marketing campaigns, and these were multi-channel. So we were doing, everything from social media, online advertising. We were even doing direct mail. Okay, so this was like an omni-channel campaign that we were running. And like many campaigns, sometimes you hit your numbers, you exceed your numbers, sometimes you're behind on your numbers. So this one situation that we were in, we were a little bit behind on our numbers. And then I'll tell you more about, some of the things that we did to try and make our numbers here. Okay. So let me tell you some of the insights that I applied in order to really improve our performance. I looked at what was going on. And to be honest, it was a bit of a mess. And so I said, man, where do I even start here? So one of the lessons that we may all have heard of and learned is the Pareto Principle. Okay, what
Yes.
is the Pareto Principle? Pareto
80/20.
Principle,
Yeah.
the 80-20 rule, right? That 80% of our results come from 20% of our actions.
Yeah.
So we just need to find out which 20% of our actions are the ones
Yeah.
that are going to really move the needle. I said, okay, all right. So this is something that can help me. So I and my team, we looked through the numbers. And what we found is while we were running an omni-channel marketing campaign, of course, not all channels were performing at the same level, right?
Sure.
Some channels were punching way above their weight, and other channels were, kind of average. Some channels actually were really dragging us down. And so I said, okay, we can't just do business as usual, and we have to apply the principle of zero-based budgeting, which is when, you have something that is in motion, instead of saying, oh, we always do it this way, start with zero, okay?
Sure.
And say, all right, if we were starting at zero, where would we allocate our dollars? So would we put money in this channel? How
Sure.
much? Would we put money in this channel? How much? So that is zero-based budgeting. And in terms of how we went about that, we identified the channels and we allocated more budget to those channels that were performing way above average. We deallocated budget from the channels that were underperforming. In fact, some of the channels we even cut down to zero because we said, look, that the numbers just don't make sense, right? Like it doesn't make sense to throw
Optimizing your
money
spend.
after this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, this, Chirag, was a risky proposition, right? And
Yeah.
so for folks in the audience, I would say be mindful of this. You will get a lot of pushback, okay? People will start telling you, oh, we've always done it this
Yeah.
way. You can't do that. How
No one
can you
likes
do that?
change. No one
Exactly.
likes change, right?
Exactly. Change is difficult, right? It's difficult
Yeah.
for us, it's difficult for others, it's difficult for everybody. As long as you have the numbers on your side, you have the data on your side, you can at least push back against the pushback, saying, hey, look, here's what the numbers say, okay? What would you
Exactly.
do if you were in my position, all right, and you're trying to hit these numbers? What would you do? And then people will be like, all right, let's see how it goes. And then let me tell you a little bit about how the situation played out, right? Because we reallocated these budgets and completely changed our channels that we were using, we were able to deliver, Chirag, record-breaking marketing acquisition. In the company's history, we didn't have any campaigns that had performed this well. And why? Because most of the campaigns, people were like, oh, we always do it this way. We always do it this way. So
Sure.
a lesson for everybody. When you hear people say, oh, we've always done it that way, that immediately means you got an opportunity to really shake things up. And don't be afraid. So when you take on the conventional wisdom, you will get a lot of pushback. But I will tell you this, folks, be ready to take calculated risks, but
Yeah.
do not be rash. Okay, just because you're changing how things used to be, it may not always work out successfully for you, right? So
Yeah.
make sure you go through the data and take calculated risks. So that's the main lesson that I learned from this experience.
No, I love that example. Zero-based budgeting. This is where you come in, you start from scratch, and you ask, what would I do if I was starting from scratch right now? Another example that I thought of, Nitin, while you were talking is, and this is something which I've seen other product marketers face. I've had conversations with some of my other peers. They have mentioned this time and time again. Let's take messaging for a particular landing page, right? You are currently working on a landing page. Let's say if it's a go-to-market product launch or if it's any particular messaging on your website, you will get inputs from different particular stakeholders on what it should be, what the messaging should be, but then they don't have the insight that you as a product marketer would have. So they may have a specific opinion on how the actual page should be based on the fact that this is, as you said, this is how it has always been done, number one. Number two, this is how a competitor is doing it, right? So that's another lens that they follow. But then to these people, I say, why don't you do something like a message testing? Use a tool like Winter, for example, right? And I'm going to plug Winter here as well. But things like that, right? You can actually you can run a couple of tests and you can go back to these stakeholders. Hey, you are asking me to talk in this particular way or create messaging in this particular way, but I actually created another way. And here is an A/B test. And here you can actually see what's performing, what's actually converting better. As you said, Pareto's principle. Look at 80/20, see what's actually optimizing the most and accordingly double down on that, right? So I love that example, and that's a great learning as well for the audience.
Yes, indeed. I think, people should always be willing to experiment.
Yeah.
And when you find that you have these tools at your disposal nowadays, oh my God, with the
Yeah.
explosion in technology and AI and all that, there's like so much that is out there. So
Yeah.
don't be afraid, get out of your comfort zone, try new things, but always, take calculated risks, have the data.
Yeah.
Like I said, A/B testing, you can actually show, hey, this is what we did, this is what we found, so here's what we're
Sure.
going to do. It's going to be good for you, it's going to be good for your career.
Absolutely. Nitin, my next question was, and you already touched upon this a little bit, but I'll ask anyway. What were the key insights that you leveraged? You've talked about the Pareto's principle, you talked about the zero-based budgeting, but what were the main insights that you leveraged while you were working through the entire campaign and refining how you're spending money? Can you walk us through the process of you sourcing these insights?
Yeah, so Pareto principle, right? So essentially, this can apply to any activity that you're
Yeah.
doing, which initially it seems like you're trying to boil the ocean. There's
Yeah.
like, oh my God, there's so much to do, right? Don't worry. Just do like a checklist of, hey, here are all the things that you have to do. In our case, we had all these different marketing campaigns. We had all these different messaging points that we had to get out there. We had different kinds of creative. We had so many different variables. It's okay. It can seem overwhelming. Just put everything down in like a spreadsheet and try to track as best as you can. Sometimes you may not have the data, right? But as best as you can, try to track what is the effectiveness or the impact of each of
Yeah.
those items that you have as best as you can. Again, it's a bit of a messy science, so don't expect that you'll have perfect data. Try to do it as best as you can. What you will find is you will have a lot more data and a lot more insights than you think you would at the beginning. At the
Hmm.
beginning, you'll say, oh, it's a whole mess. I'm just going to throw up my hands. No, actually try doing it. So that's what my team and I did. We actually sat down, we looked through the data, and it was painstaking, right? It was boring. It was a grind, right? Nobody likes doing that. Everybody likes the results that come from it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you got to do it, right? So that was the other insight that, you know what, you have to have the grit, the ability to power through, and the boldness to take decisions based on the data. Zero-based budgeting, we talked about that. So the Pareto principle and zero-based budgeting, I would say those are probably the two main insights that helped deliver
Absolutely.
these results.
100%. You touched upon this as well a little earlier. My question was, did this perform as per expectations? But you already talked about the fact that this was a record-breaking performance for you in your company. So I'll just probably skip to that, and that's a great way to end, this particular example. Okay, section 3. Now, this section I like to call tool talk. So just for context, I asked Nitin to, when we connected previously, I asked him to think about one particular software, one particular tool that he uses on a day-to-day basis, and I had a few questions that I wanted to ask him based on that. So Nitin, what is that one tool that you can't function without in your day-to-day?
Yeah, again, with the explosion in technology and tools and AI, there are like so many different tools out there.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you one that I had like an opposite reaction to initially, and this is Monday.com.
Hmm.
So Monday.com, many of you may have used it. It's a great project management tool that is all cloud native, and you just you don't have to download anything. Just go to the website
Yeah.
Monday.com, sign up. And initially, so when we had Monday.com, I was not a fan. I was like, man, what the hell is this? I'd never used this before, and it was, at least initially it seemed a little bit clunky, and
Hmm.
I was like, man, seriously, we got to use this. This is such a pain. Even my teammates, they were like, oh man, we don't want to use this thing. They were up in arms. And every time, I was like, hey, you got to put it on Monday. Oh, I got to go to Monday. So it was a very visceral negative reaction that me and my team we had.
Yeah.
Then over time, we actually warmed up to it, right? We found that actually, you know what, despite all the shortcomings, it is actually a pretty nice tool. And now we've come to the point where we can't live without it.
Live
We
without
swear
it.
by it. When somebody says, hey, we got to do this, it's like, put it on Monday. Where is it in Monday? Show me the Monday board. So now we've become true believers. And that's
Yeah. Yeah.
sometimes the best situation where you're a non-believer turned into a believer. So Monday.com is the tool that I'd pick.
Monday.com is gonna love hearing this, by the way. For them, if they see this clip, they're gonna be, celebrating inside that they converted someone who was a skeptic to someone who's now a promoter, pretty much, right?
There you
Uh,
go.
but what is the specific features or functions about Monday.com that made you fall in love with it? Especially because your start was not that great with them. What happened? What was the
Exactly.
journey like?
Yeah, so Monday.com, again, those of you who have used it, you'll probably be familiar. But those if not, check out Monday.com. It's a great project management tool. It's got so many powerful capabilities. I'll tell you some of the features that I really like. One is you can tag your coworkers.
Hmm.
So if let's say you're working on a project and you either have a question for someone or you want to let them know that, hey, I've done this, now I need you to do that, or hey, please review this, instead of now like putting the thing in there and then now you go to some email or some Slack and do something else
Sure.
and they were like, where's the document? Or, did that person already review it? Like everything is right there. You can tag your coworkers, and it's
Sure.
as easy, like in most platforms, you put the @ put their name, and they're tagged, and then they'll get notifications. Whether they can set up email notifications, they can set up Slack notifications, they can set up
Yeah.
app notifications on their phone. So the notifying and tagging of your coworkers, that's a great feature. Another one is you can have quick emoji reactions, right? Like thumbs up,
If you
or
like this or if you don't like this, if it's
exactly,
approved,
yes,
if it's
or
not approved.
exactly, check mark, all those emojis. And so the nice thing is, unlike email, where if someone
Sure.
says, "Oh man, this is awesome," they have to write out an email. This is awesome, even if they put one line. This is so easy. You just put like a thumbs up, and you can even tell, for example, how many people have looked at it, how many people
Yeah.
have reacted. They like it, maybe they
Yeah.
question it. So it makes it so easy. The quick emoji reactions. Another one feature that I like is not only the reactions, but you can also tell how many people have actually viewed the update.
Mm.
So let's say you put an update, hey, you know what, here's the new document, or I've made my edits in the document.
Sure.
Even if no one reacts, you can go into Monday and see how many people saw that update, that you put even the one line, hey, I've finished my edits. And if let's say sometimes you're waiting on other people, hey, I need you to review this or not, you can at least see, man, did you even
Sure.
look at my update?
Read it. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
been like a week and you haven't
So
even
so
looked
can
at it.
you see who the person is who's viewed it or just the total view count?
The person, it'll tell you all the
Oh,
people who have actually seen the update,
I
right?
see. Okay.
So you can follow up with them. Hey, you know what? It's been 3 days, guys. Please, I need, the 5 people have seen it. The 2 people, please go check it out. And then if I need to, I can even Slack them, right? Then I can go outside Monday because now I know in Monday
Sure.
only like 3 people saw it. So I got to Slack them. So it like really helps when I said project management. See, these are some of the challenges that you have in project management, right? Like you have to work with so many different people. You need all of their inputs, and that collaboration, it makes it so much easier in Monday. Another thing is permissions. So sometimes, you're working on like a secret project that perhaps the whole company shouldn't be aware of until you're ready to announce something, right? It's like a
Sure.
very sensitive project and so on. You can have permissions. So you can limit the visibility only to certain people. So you don't have to worry that, man, if I put something in Monday, the whole company is going to see it. No. Sometimes you can even do that if you have a personal board, right? If you're
Sure.
trying to do something for yourself and you don't even want your teammates to see it. So permissions is another great feature that I like. And the other feature I'll talk about is there's this feature called My Work. So in Monday, you've got the concept of different boards. Like
Yeah.
each department can have their own board, the marketing department, the product department, the R&D department, every department can have their own. And sometimes people will assign you responsibilities in various boards. And it can be a pain, man. I got to go to marketing. What does marketing need from me? What does product need from me? What does this need from me? There's this thing called My Work where it collaborates, it goes through all the boards and it brings you like a quick summary of all the activities and kind of your inbox across all the boards, which it really
Nice.
saves you a lot of time. Anyway, so these are some of my favorite features of Monday.
That's awesome. When I was hearing, I was also thinking about what tools I personally use for a lot of these things. I am a big user of Figma. For me, and I am usually a very visual thinker. For me, if I need to do some strategy work or if I need to, think a lot about a particular positioning campaign or a overall messaging and so you have positioning, then you have messaging, then you have copy. So how do I break each of those down and how do I lay out all the information? I am very visual that way. So Fig Jams within Figma are the place that I pretty much live in, right? And Figma helps me do, so you mentioned a few things, tagging your colleagues, right? You mentioned emoji responses. You mentioned private boards if something is very,
Sensitive.
confidential or something or
Yeah.
sensitive, right? So Figma lets me do some of these things. And use case is the same, I don't want to go to email, I don't want to send an email to someone and then wait for the response. But Nitin, did you know, fun fact, Microsoft Outlook now lets you also add emoji responses to emails. Did you know that?
Oh, cool. We don't use
Yeah.
Outlook email. We use Gmail.
Okay.
Gmail has basic emojis, like you can just put a happy face, I think. So
Yeah.
in Outlook, I guess you can put the full range of emojis or
I think there are like not the full range, but
okay.
I think five, six. But then
Yeah,
that's
that's
still
good.
okay. Like that's
That's
still that
good.
does the job for me. So I'm sending very fewer emails now. And then Microsoft probably saw that and they're like, oh, this is something we should add to Outlook as well. Like they already had it in Teams. Why not add it in
Yeah,
Outlook as well?
that's right.
So yeah, so that's what they've done. Okay, that's great.
Very cool.
Were you involved in the purchase decision for Monday?
Not exactly. Okay, so I'll tell you what I
Sure.
mean. So we have like our own technology department that's responsible for kind of the purchases. We
Sure.
as users, we have a big say in that. In fact, I'm one of the super users of Monday.com at our company. And so when it was time to renew, the folks from Monday.com reached out to me saying, "Hey, you're one of the super users, and we'd like your inputs and this and that, and anything you can put a good word into, the purchasing department and this and
Sure.
that." So yes, I wasn't directly involved. And then, oh, I'll tell you another quick one. When it was time to renew, we had a situation where, our team was kind of looking to save a little bit of money, but man, my team, we went up in arms, and we were like, "Man, we gotta have this thing, okay? This
Yeah.
Monday.com, we're not going to cancel that thing." And so based on our revolt, then we had to reinstate that. So yes, that's how much we love the tool. So there you go.
So it was on the chopping block for you guys then, Monday.com at one point.
Yes. Yes, at one point, yes,
Oh,
but it's
interesting.
it's worth it. It's worth it, man, guys. If
Yeah,
you're if you're looking at Monday, take it.
I'm gonna tag Monday.com when this episode goes out
You
because they
should.
should hear from you. They should firstly you were, someone who did not like the platform. Then you
Exactly.
graduated to becoming a promoter. And now you actually defended the use for the company and made sure that it's still part of it. So
There you
Monday.com
go.
should definitely check this podcast out.
There you go.
Okay. I have an interesting question for you. So let's say, Nitin, if I were to tell you that, okay, you wake up tomorrow morning, you are a product marketer at Monday.com, right? And if I asked you that, would you do anything differently to target someone like yourself? Like if you were a product marketer for them, if you had to reach out to Nitin from Carbine, for example, what should they be doing? What should they not be doing? Or would you change anything?
Yeah, so I'd say Monday.com is an example of a beautiful product which has experienced product-led growth.
Yeah.
And product-led growth, of course, is where users try the product, maybe there's a free trial, and then they fall in love with it, and that is what makes them kind of buy and upsell and just
Sure.
continue the subscription. And so Monday.com is a great example. So in a sense, I would say the product Monday.com is so good that it makes the job of the product marketer much, much easier.
Yeah.
In a
Product
sense,
does the job. It
there
does the
you go.
talking,
It
right?
sells itself.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so the product marketers, I mean, you guys are very blessed at Monday.com to have a really nice product there. It's very intuitive, like it's so good that you don't even need to look at the reference manuals or anything like that. It just works. It's very, very
Yeah.
intuitive. So what would I do differently, right? I would say probably the one thing is if there were more testimonials from people like me.
Hmm.
If I heard from other people, "Oh, I love this," or especially like me, where I was a skeptic, but now I'm a wholehearted believer. And so what maybe the folks can do is, if you guys Monday.com, you guys are listening, consider doing these on social media, where you
Yeah.
take like some one line testimonial from someone like me or someone else and put that out on social media. Put like a picture of them and like a one line, here's what so and so says. If you like put that out on a regular basis, maybe once a week or something like that, you will have really good ability to capture new audiences, because people maybe who are skeptical but who haven't tried it, when they see, "Man, every week I know that guy, he says that, I know
Sure.
that lady, she says that, man, I gotta try this." So that's the
Sure.
one thing I'll suggest. Have like social media testimonials once a week or
Yeah.
so, and that could really help.
Maybe they can start with this. This
That's
could be the
true.
first one, right? Well, it's not just
Right
one.
here.
Like they could probably take like 3 to 4 clips already that you've spoken.
There
So
you go. Yes.
Monday.com, reach out to me. We can have a conversation, right? I can
Yes.
I can
Talk to
provide you with the
Chirag.
clips.
Talk to Chirag. Yes, he's got all the goods.
Awesome. This was helpful. This was like a whole love letter to Monday.com. Okay. I wanna move to our final thoughts. What excites you most, Nitin, about product marketing, about our industry, about our overall community, and what the future holds for our function?
Yeah, product marketing, again, I'm biased. I'm a product marketer, so I love product marketing.
We all
Uh,
are. Yeah.
Yes, there you go. And I'll tell you my perspective, right? I feel product marketing is the core of a business, right? You're working with all these different departments, all these different teams. It's something like, I like to think of it like I'm in an airport control tower. I see all the planes landing, I see all the planes taking off, and there are a couple of interesting things about product marketing, okay? Like at the airport control tower, when the planes are landing and taking off and product launches are working well, nobody hears about us. You may not even know there's a control tower, okay?
Yeah.
Planes landing, planes taking off, no problem. Now, when you have hiccups, okay?
Something goes wrong. Yeah.
Flights are delayed, flights are canceled, product launches, have some issues, then the finger pointing starts, okay? Then it's going to be like, hey, where's that product marketer? What happened with this product launch? So, look, that comes with the territory. But, like, it's one of those things that, just deal with it. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And so I think it really is in our benefit. AI is, of course, changing so many different industries and so many
Yeah.
different domains, including product marketing. And AI is really giving us superpowers, right? As we look into the crystal ball, what does the future hold? Like many industries and many roles, many domains, what took years now can take months. What took months now can take days. And what
Yeah.
took days, now you can do it in a few hours. And
In
so
minutes.
product
Yeah. Yeah.
marketing is no different. And so I think we're going to reap the benefits of all this new technology. And I'm really, really excited.
Yeah, absolutely. Future is bright. Future looks good for us. And obviously, with people like yourself who is creating so much content and enabling so many other people to learn from you, I'm excited to what for what the future holds as well. Nitin, last question. How can people reach out to you? We've covered this, but I just want to give you an opportunity to share that with people. If they have any questions, if they want to learn from you.
Absolutely. The best way is LinkedIn. So just search me on LinkedIn. My name is Nitin Kartik, Nitin Kartik, and I'm the guy with the car emoji. So it's easy to find me. So do hit me up on LinkedIn. I'm always open to a chat, a coffee chat, if you want some advice or just to discuss, some challenges that you're having. Always happy to help. And do follow me on LinkedIn as well. As Chirag mentioned, I put out a daily dose of inspiration. So if you're in need of a daily dose of inspiration, please do give me a follow.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can attest to the kind of content that he's putting out. I've been following Nitin for a while. I have known Nitin for a while, like we've spoken on a few occasions as well. So, from that perspective, yes, please go follow him. Thanks so much, Nitin. I learned a lot. I hope the folks learned a lot as well. This was episode 3, done and dusted, out of the way. Stay tuned. I'll be coming up with the next one very soon. Again, thanks for watching.
Thank you, Chirag. Great, great chatting.